What's going on, everyone? So, LeBron James is in year 21. He's going to be 39, and he still is playing like he's 27 years old. Now, there are some concerns this year, right? He's coming off of a pretty significant foot injury, although he says he's fine. There is no word or confirmation on whether or not he had surgery or not. But he said himself that that would be the case, that if he did go get surgery, no one would know about it. And if he didn't, no one would know about it. So, he's more than capable of making that happen. And if he did, he did. If he didn't, he didn't, right? Doesn't matter. Either way, the big question is, can he be healthy this season? And then, of course, there's always the thought of like, is this the year that LeBron becomes human? Is this the year that he takes that step back? Is this the year that he finally starts being the guy that like are usually the guys in year 21 that are giving you like 4 points a game, right? I don't think LeBron will ever be that. He's too smart, too skilled, too talented. Him just being on the court, he'll be able to get 20 points a game. But what does his stat line look like? And can he stay healthy? And what is this like? Is he in a position to help lead this roster to an NBA championship? He's still, based on last year, a top 10 guy in the league, which is ridiculous, right? Wherever you rank him is where you rank him, but there's no question he's top 10 guy in the league. And he still, this year, could easily be a 38-8 guy, just like he was last year, right? But you look at this roster, and Rob Pelinka being able to keep the core from last year, right? Your Austin Reeves, D'Lo, Vando, Rui, being able to keep them, have Anthony Davis extended so you don't have that dark cloud hanging over you of like, are they going to trade AD? What's going to happen? Are they going to, like, all of the nonsense, all of the outside noise that could potentially be a distraction are all done, right? They're all gone. And you went and got basically a starting five for most teams right now, like these bottom tier teams that are now going to be the bench unit. And the Lakers are deep, they're big, they're switchable, they're sizable, they're everything you need to go and win an NBA championship. This roster is the perfect roster for LeBron James. Everything. Like, all of the concerns, all of the questions about LeBron are all answered because of this roster. Now, does LeBron take a step back this year? I do think so, but not because he's father time is catching up. I think he takes a step back because this roster is just ridiculous and he's not going to have to do everything, right? Like last year, he had to score 30 a game for us to just even be in the game, right? Like if he didn't give us 30, it wasn't even going to be competitive. Where once you saw us go and get a legit roster, all of a sudden LeBron wasn't trying to go get 30 a night, right? He was playing within the schemes. We saw him allow and defer to Austin Reeves and allow Austin Reeves to close games down the stretch and all that stuff. Now, how much of that was due to injury? I do think that there is a some of that is definitely the case. But I do think he does play more within the scheme and within this roster than he has maybe ever, right? Because he is in year 21. He is going to be 39. Like, LeBron's not an idiot. He understands where he's at. And the guy spends more money, more time, more energy, more effort on his body than any athlete we've ever seen, right? The dude spends more money on his body than most of us will ever see in our lifetime. And he does that every year, right? So out of everybody, LeBron is the one guy you don't have to worry about. But it's nice and refreshing that this is a roster where LeBron can really focus on just kind of just maintaining, coasting, not overexerting himself. He's going to go get his. He's going to go get his 20 plus a night. Like, I still think he gets his 8 rebounds and, 5 to 8 assists, right? I just don't think that there's a reason that he has to play more than 30 minutes a game. I just don't think that he needs to go drop 30 anymore. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if he's 23 points. I wouldn't be surprised if he's like 23, 5 and 5, right? Or like 23, 8 and 5, right? And which would still be incredibly ridiculous and historically great. But he's not going to have to go and drop an average 30 a game for the Lakers to be competitive. You can make the argument that if that happens, the Lakers might not be competitive because this roster is so deep and so talented. That means everyone else is just kind of standing around, which is what you don't want. You got tons, like, this is a roster, like, legitimately, and I truly believe this. I think if LeBron said, hey, I'm going to take the year off, but I will come back like the last 10 games and then be ready for the playoffs. I'll come back the last 10 games just to kind of get, game ready and then come back for the playoffs. I still think the Lakers would be a playoff team. This roster is so deep, so talented. This is a roster that I believe, not against like Boston or Milwaukee or something like that, but like Detroit or the Spurs or something like that. I actually believe, like, if Anthony Davis and LeBron James sat against like some of these like lower teams in the league, we could still beat them, right? Like, I think we could still be a team that fights for a play-in without LeBron and AD. You still need LeBron and AD if you want to win a chip, if you want to actually go anywhere. But I do think that this Lakers team could be in the hunt and potentially even be a play-in team without LeBron and AD. Because even if you remove LeBron and AD, you still have a ton of size, ton of switchability. You'd have to get another center, of course. But you'd still have D'Lo, Reeves, Rui, and Christian Wood that are all capable of giving you 20-plus a night. You'd have great size, great switchability, great depth still. You'd still be 12 guys deep. I fully believe that Austin Reeves is going to add a lot to LeBron this year because you saw it last year. You saw the Reeves-LeBron connection and what Reeves gives LeBron and LeBron being so willing to defer to Austin Reeves and trust Austin Reeves. I think that happens a lot this year, right? Like, Reeves is one of the few people ever in LeBron's career where he was willing to kind of just go ahead, do your thing, right? And I do expect that more this year. And I think with Reeves and the way he played for Team USA, I think that just gave LeBron even more confirmation of like, okay, I can let the kid shine, and that'll just take a world of pressure off of me, and then just pick and choose my spots, and then come playoff time, just take over if I need to, right? Just be fresh, be reserved, and ready. I also think this is the deepest team LeBron has ever had front to back. Like, as far as like actual, I mean, LeBron's had, like, on paper, you're like, oh, he had Rose, he had Wade, but when you actually see the version of Rose and Wade that he had, like, again, like, front to back, I think this is the deepest roster they ever had. Now, I think it's deeper than I think this is also one of the deepest rosters the Lakers have ever had. I'm not saying the deepest, again, saying one of the deepest, right? And again, those LeBron teams won chips, and a lot of those Laker teams won chips. So I understand the reluctancy from some people of like, we got to wait. Again, I completely get it. But on paper, this is one of the deepest teams we've ever seen, as from like a LeBron Lakers standpoint, right? And it's now about building that chemistry, building that camaraderie, establishing those relationships. Because like the bubble team, they played for each other. They loved and cared for each other. I mean, they were having movie nights and slumber parties and and just having parties on the bench. And I mean, it was just a vibe. It was. And that's what they need to get to this year. This roster is extremely young, extremely talented, extremely deep, which is all things that we need for LeBron at this stage in his career. Because he's going to be able to rely on the youth. He's going to be able to rely on these young bucks. I think it'll also push him because he has all these young guys and he's going to want to show the young guys, like, I still got it, I'm still him, right? Like we saw last year where guys are calling him grandpa and stuff like that. He's just balling out, right? Like, it's just, I'm pumped. And I think that this is the perfect roster for LeBron James. Perfect. It's time for Anthony Davis to kind of emerge and step up and kind of play that number one guy. I hope he does this year. LeBron's also got to be willing to allow that, right? Because he says he does, but at times we've seen him kind of almost do too much at times. But I'm pumped. I'm pumped for LeBron. I'm pumped for this season. I'm pumped for this roster. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, so I pass the question on to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? Do you agree? Like, yeah, this roster is tailor-made for LeBron? Do you think, like, nah, do you think it's one of his deepest rosters? Do you think it is his deepest roster? Again, I have a feel, whatever your thoughts